Hello everybody, this is John Hindhaugh from IMSA Radio with Mike Renner in the BMW M3. We're on the apron on the tri-oval of the World Centre of Racing. Yes, we're back at Daytona International Speedway again as we continue the countdown to the 2017 season for the IMSA WeatherTech Championship and the Continental Sports Car Challenge. It's the 55th running of the Rolex 24 here at Daytona. We've just had the IMSA cars out on the track for their final practice session. And later on today, the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge cars will be out on this very bit of tarmac. Well, hopefully actually not down here, because if they're down here, they're having some troubles. This is Mike Renner. If you know anything about us and BMW, you know that Mike and I, it's the Mike and John show at this time of the year. First of all, welcome to 2017, Mike.
Thank you, John. Always a pleasure. I love having you along as a passenger. And as I said earlier, I've seen you drive. You're a wheelman. So, maybe I could do the radio thing. You could drive a bit.
Well, I've even brought my international FIA license in my top pocket. Never go to a racing circuit unprepared, I always think. What are we going to see here around this 3.5 miles of the circuit? Have you been able to do any practice yet? Have you dialed yourself in, or are we the guinea pigs?
Well, you're kind of the guinea pig. I've been around. I've been around the track a number of times. It's very fast, a lot of fun, and we're in a very capable BMW M3, and we have those new Continental tires that you were talking about earlier. We have those on, so it should be all good.
This is the Continental. The Extreme Contact Sport will be released in the USA in February, and I think uniquely for a street tire, and this is a street tire, not a track tire, I think uniquely has been developed with the IMSA drivers. 5 IMSA drivers have been a part of the development phase of this. I got to meet them out at the BMW Performance Driving School at Thermal in California when the sign-off was happening. A very capable tyre, Mike.
Absolutely. The previous tires they built are good, but as they say, it just keeps getting better. This tire is phenomenal, very durable, and with a lot of grip.
It's easy to forget, isn't it, the round black things. We kind of take them for granted on each corner of the car, but matching the right car to the right tyre and the right performance characteristics can completely change how a car handles, and more importantly, the feedback. And this Continental Extreme Contact Sport tyre has been designed to give more feedback to the driver. Do you feel it?
Oh, absolutely. Like the BMW, the car will tell you what it's doing, and so will the tire. That's very important. You always want to know what's going on with the grip of the tire. And so there are tires that are sort of, should we say, numb. This tire gives you a lot of feedback as to exactly what's going on with the grip.
Well, we're rolling now, just coming past pit in onto the tri-oval itself, looking up to the right to this fantastic stadium, the world's really only motorsport stadium complex, as we remember that it was only a year ago that IMSA Radio became the first broadcasters from that brand new facility that overlooks the start-finish line. If I look up now, in fact, I think I can just about pick up our studio, which is just beyond the start-finish line, which is where we are now. We're below the yellow line. There's a couple of sleeping policemen to discourage anyone driving too fast at this part. 43-degree bankings on the corners, a little bit less on this straightaway here before. In the racing conditions, the guys would be diving down through the transition and down towards the infield circuit, which adds about a mile to the 2.5 miles of this famous Daytona International Speedway circuit. And in race conditions, it's very tough indeed to spot your braking point and turning point. We're off. Mike clicks up with the right paddle with his right fingers down into turns 1 and 2. Nice late turn in. Bit of wheel spin there from the Continental tyres, but a change up as we go through turns 2 and 3 and down to the International Horseshoe. Another right-hander. Full hairpin this. Get the front end to bite and then plenty of power. Mike with a bit of opposite lock there as we head through the infield circuit and on towards the kink. Awesome left-hand corner. Big dab of the brakes, take some curb on the inside and let the car breathe, but then drag it back to the left-hand side to the West Horseshoe. All the road on the entrance here scrambling for grip, and Mike working hard on the steering wheel here. 4 up in this M4. We're adding a lot of weight to this M3, excuse me. And now using the ABS as we go through turn 6 and onto the high banks of the speedway. Very few people get the opportunity to do this. The car goes up the banking all the way up to the Daytona side, and we're on speedway turns 1 and 2. Speed climbing well up to 140 miles an hour as Mike just uses the banking up into top gear. Now the tricky entrance to the back straight chicane, the bus stop, can take a little bit of curb on the entrance, but you want to be very smooth through the middle, and that right hand, the second part, comes up very, very quickly indeed, and you've got to be smooth on that so that you get the power on early for speedway 3 and 4. The BMW engine chiming away in the background, and again well up towards 140 miles an hour as we begin now just to bleed off speed because we're coming back towards the pit lane entrance, and a very rapid 3.5 miles for Mike Renner, just dialing himself in. He says, "You are a showman of the first order, par excellence." As you remember it, I presume.
Absolutely. Nothing's changed much. The tires they were fantastic. Don't you think? You could feel them up on the banking. Maximum grip. It felt like Velcro, right? Awesome.
Mike, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be with you again. Keep up that great work at the BMW Performance Driving School.
Thank you, John. Come see us.
We will. Got to give up my seat to someone else now. Bye-bye.